So, hello, welcome back to the final instalment of what is our examination of the gotquestions.org review of Swedenborgianism. The very last point that they raise in those third and fourth paragraphs, summarising the Swedenborgian point of view, they say this: the afterlife is spiritual, but dependent on how well you lived in your physical body. And the so-called biblical Christianity perspective, the afterlife will be experienced in one of two places, heaven or hell, and that in a physical body. Not entirely sure where to start here, but I thought I'd offer you this passage from Swedenborg. I think it's a fairly simple, straightforward summary of what he believes. If our evil is not set aside in this world, it cannot be set aside afterwards. The tree lies where it falls, and so too our life retains its basic quality when we die. We are all judged according to our deeds. However, this is key. It is not that those deeds are tallied up, but that we return to them and behave the same. So we don't believe in the eternal scorecard, but we do understand that it's human nature to go back to doing the things we've been used to doing. And if we haven't changed our ways, our habits during this lifetime, then we're just not going to change them. I would like to look at the biblical passage that they have offered in support of their statement. I'm not going to read it in its entirety, because it's too long. And it's easy enough for you to find. It's the last chapter in the Bible, Revelation chapter 22. What I do want to say is, I don't really understand how anything in this chapter points to heaven and hell as being physical places we experience in a physical body. The chapter just does not demand it. What I will do is just look at a couple of points in that chapter. I'm going to start with verse 5, where it says, "There shall be no night there." Now, a statement like that suggests a significantly different order of life than we experience in this present natural world. So either God's going to come back, destroy everything and re-establish it, and it's going to work in an entirely different way, or we're talking about a spiritual reality. Verses 14 and 15. "Blessed are those who do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life, and may enter through the gates into the city. But outside are dogs, and sorcerers, and sexually immoral, and murderers, and idolaters, and whoever loves and practices a lie." This passage clearly places demands upon our behaviour. But what does it mean to love and practice a lie? I wonder whether it's to be so committed to an appearance, an illusion, a fallacy, that you're unable to acknowledge reality. So my final challenge is that if you want to call yourself biblical Christians, you want to make fairly sure that what you're saying is actually stated in the Bible itself. Look, given that there are no significant passages offered here, I will give you one bonus, and that's Romans chapter 8. But before we read, I want you just to have in mind these two questions. How many laws is Paul speaking of here? And which law stands? "There is therefore now no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus, who do not walk according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. For the law of the Spirit of life in Christ Jesus has made me free from the law of sin and death. For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, God did by sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh on account of sin. He condemned sin in the flesh, that the righteous requirement of the law might be fulfilled in us, who do not walk according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. For those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh, but those who live according to the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, nor indeed can be. So then, those who are in the flesh cannot please God. Look, it seems very clear to me there's two laws active here. The law of the flesh, and there is the law of the Spirit. And Paul tells us to disregard the law of the flesh, but he does not disregard the law of the Spirit. The law of the Spirit stands. And when we meet the judgment, whatever that is, we will be required to measure our lives against that law. I think there's really not much more that I want to say. How does the review of Swedenborgianism stack up on gotquestions.org? Do you think it's true? Do you think it's real? Do you think that what they have proposed reflects what the Bible truly says? Is Swedenborg at odds with true biblical Christianity? If you've made it this far, well done. Especially if you've watched all of my videos. I think they've been fairly heavy going. I do look forward to hearing your comments. Do please put something below. If you've got any ideas of where we can go next, please feel free to put them down there too. As always, keep it friendly, and I look forward to seeing you next time.